all of this damage has been done. Hundreds and hundreds of books were lost. And we won't know what was lost until we find them. We won't really know the extent of the damage. And we won't know what we don't know until we know it. The effort is always valuable to restore and repair what has been lost and damaged. So much hasn't survived from that period. So many manuscripts were destroyed, buildings, art, sculpture. Think about Notre Dame, the fire at Notre Dame, right? So as a medievalist, I feel like anything that we can do to try and restore some of that loss is always going to be valuable to someone.
Hey, Lisa. So it's such a strange story, this story about an estate sale. Somebody finds a single page and somehow it gets to you, and then it's a book you've been looking to remake for a long time. So yeah, tell us what happened. So first, just give us a little bit about your background.
Sure. So I have a PhD in medieval studies, which I got at Yale in 1993. And since that time, so that's, 30 years, I've been studying medieval manuscripts in North America. So manuscripts that were produced in the Middle Ages in Europe, in Western Europe, and have since made their way to the United States. And I've been really interested in collectors and collecting people like J.P. Morgan and William Randolph Hearst, who back in the early 20th century were buying up all of this artwork from the other side of the Atlantic and bringing it all over to the United States.
They bought the collection and kept it together, but that wasn't always the way people thought about these manuscripts then, right?
Right. And so what I've become very interested in the last 10 or 15 years is this practice that was quite common, especially in America. It's a very capitalist American practice in that book dealers and art dealers would take a medieval manuscript, a whole book, and they would cut it up into pieces and sell it off page by page. Because of the scale, they would make a lot more money that way. You make more money selling 300 pages to 300 buyers than one book to one buyer.
Now, was that common in Europe as well?
No, it really wasn't. It was really an American phenomenon. Some of the people who did this were doing it just to make a buck. But the book dealer who I've been particularly interested in is a man named Otto Ege, which is E-G-E, who lived and worked in Cleveland in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. He actually was raised as a socialist, and he saw this, in addition to making him a lot of money, he saw this as kind of an equalizer in that why should J.P. Morgan get all the manuscripts? Why should William Randolph Hearst and Henry Huntington have all the pretty books? Everybody should have a little bit of the Middle Ages. So I'm going to cut up these books and I'm going to sell the pages off. So you get a leaf and you get a leaf. I own several manuscript leaves. I've got things, hanging on my wall here. And so these things have been scattered all over the country and all over the world, but mostly they're found in North America.
I have to jump in and ask you, why was this a passion? Why did you study this very specifically? What got you into this field? It's very eclectic.
You mean medieval studies generally?
Yes, and then the manuscript. Yeah, what is about it?
I would say I did do medieval studies in college. I went to Brown. And so, and it's a very Brown University kind of thing to make up your own major because we get to do that there. So that's what I did. I made up my own medieval studies concentration in the 80s when I was there. And I had an opportunity my senior year to as part of a class, to actually get my hands on medieval manuscripts in the collection. And there's really something quite magical about holding a book that has been through so much in its journey from there and then to here and now. And you think about all the people who worked to make it, all the owners, all the librarians, the curators, all the hands who have touched it, who have read it until it lands on your desk and you become part of the history of the book. of that volume. And I was really taken by that idea, not just about the studying the object itself, but its journey. These things are 700, 800, 900 years old, and they've, in order to get, especially to get to the United States, if they're from Europe, they've all taken this journey. And that journey is something that I find really interesting, because it tells you something not just about the book, but about the owners. Who wanted this? Why did they find it interesting? Why did Henry Huntington pay, all of this money for this object? Why was he interested in it? Why was, different collectors who were interested in different kinds of objects?
But this particular book was a book about the French Revolution, right?
No, it was confiscated.
It was looted. Right.
During the French Revolution. So it experienced what was happening. No, it's much older than that. So this particular manuscript is one that was cut up in 1942. And I first met it when I was doing my graduate program at Yale. There were several pages of it there. And it's a really beautiful book. It just breaks your heart.
So the book doesn't exist anywhere, this
Correct.
Book. There was only one copy of it.
Right,
and
because it's a manuscript. So all manuscripts, by definition, they're handwritten. They're not printed. Okay. They're not mechanically produced. They're all written by a person. They're by hand. So every manuscript is totally unique, even if the text isn't. The actual object is totally unique.
So the first time it shows up is around the French Revolution, right?
Well, and so there are a few things that we know. We know it was given to the cathedral in Beauvais, France, in the early 1300s. It was produced maybe 20 years before then. It's from the late 1200s, the late 13th century. And it's a prayer book. It's used for the Mass in the cathedral. Mm-hmm. And during the French Revolution, when things were being confiscated and the armies of Napoleon were sweeping across France and down into Italy and basically destroying and looting these collections and consolidating them into larger collections. And that's what happened to this manuscript. It disappeared in the late 18th century. And then it ended up in a private collection in, 30 years later. And it was inherited through several generations. And at this point, it wasn't being used as a prayer book. It was a collector's item. In the early 1920s, it was sold at auction by Sotheby's, and it was purchased by William Randolph Hearst. He was the one who actually bought it when it was still a complete book, and he sold it in 1942.
Why would he only own it for 15 years? Why would he sell it?
I think he, in the 1940s, he started deaccessioning a lot of his collection. A lot of his art was sold during that period. And I couldn't tell you why. It could be that he was changing what he was interested in owning. So he was trying to maybe trade up a little bit to sell off some things so that he could have some capital to buy other things. I don't really know enough about him and his collecting practice. But it's not uncommon for collectors to sort of have a churn like that in their collection, buying and selling.
So Philip Duchesne's, buys the book with a friend of his named Otto Edge. Now, Eggy, are they already known for breaking up these works of art?
Yeah,
is that kind of what they're doing?
Yeah, that's their modus operandi, right? So this is how they make a lot of money. They're also selling whole books and manuscripts, but they really had a very, if you want to call it successful, economically successful business selling these single pages of manuscripts that they had cut up.
Where were they located?
So Duchesne's was in New York City and Otto Eggy was in Cleveland. And Eggy was he's the one who was the socialist who thought he was doing the world a favor by making this material accessible and available, not just for students and teachers, but for anybody.
It's interesting because he's a sea of contradictions in a way, because he's collecting this art and then he's also destroying it because his frame of reference makes him do this. So, okay, so he has a storefront in Manhattan and he just breaks this particular book up into, now, how many pages are in the book?
So there originally, and we only know this because it was when it was sold at Sotheby's, they provided a whole description of it. According to Sotheby's, it originally had 309 pages.
Okay, so you're at Yale, you're in the library there, you're looking at some manuscripts, and you have and why does this particular thing, why do these things come out at you and you start to research this book? Is this the Catholic Mass or the
Right. Well, I'm
Latin
not
Mass?
Catholic, so it doesn't have it's the content isn't what speaks to me. It's just the story of this book I find really compelling in that it's been through a lot, right? It's really been through a lot. You know, it's been through war in the French Revolution. It's been in fancy private collections. It's flown across the Atlantic. It was owned by Hearst. And then it gets cut up into pieces and scattered literally across the planet. And it's not even close to the only book that this happened to, but it is now one of the most well-known of these manuscripts that were cut up. It still happens today, unfortunately.
I mean, there's a lot of these books, but this one speaks to you because of the art of it. Could you show us a page or two?
Yeah, actually, I have one. I have one on my wall. I'll take it off the wall.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is
it's quite beautiful.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. Are you able to read that? And right? And so also, is it taken from more, traditional text? In other words, please give our audience a little bit of context around it's a prayer book. Where, what denomination, like what are we talking about? What are the pages talking about?
So it's a Catholic prayer book. It's for the use of a priest during Mass. So it's designed calendrically as you go through the liturgical year from Advent all the way through Easter and the summers and back to Advent again. You would go, depending on what day it is.
Basically a Torah.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
A Torah, I can
Oy vey, it's a Torah.
Right,
right.
It's very similar, right? You don't have a parsha, but you've got your liturgy for the day.
Okay.
And as you go through the liturgy, so today is November 16th, that's somebody's saint's day. I don't know off the top of my head whose feast day is November 16th, but the internet can tell you. And so then if you are going to be the person saying Mass, you would then get your missal, which this is, and you would go to the right page, and that would tell you the liturgy for that day. So the liturgy is customized for a particular saint or whatever the feast day is, if it's, the Annunciation or Epiphany or whatever holiday you're talking about. And so this manuscript, like any missal, preserves the text for particular feast days.
So how do we know, can we trace back where the text or, how many years back, millennia, how old is the text itself?
Most of these texts are biblical. They're biblical readings and chants. It also has music. And most of them were established fairly early on by the Catholic Church, in the earlier part of the Middle Ages. But the liturgy is always, it's living. The liturgy is a living tradition, and it's always being edited. It's always changing, but it's also specific in many ways to the place where it's being said. So there is liturgy in this manuscript that is specific to the city of Beauvais. There are particular saints who are venerated in Beauvais and not necessarily somewhere else. And so that's part of the research, is to figure out how much of this liturgy is sort of generic and how much of it is really specific. And that's the kind of information you lose when a manuscript is cut to pieces and scattered across the world. If you only have one page, you've got nothing in terms of understanding the text and the liturgy and the liturgical tradition. So that's one justification for the work that I'm doing in trying to put this book back together, so that people, other scholars, liturgists, musicologists, can now dig into this liturgical tradition by looking at the reconstructed object. And of course, you can't reconstruct it in actual space and time anymore, because it can't exist anymore as an actual three-dimensional object. And so the digital...
Well, it's sort of the Elgin marbles problem, right?
Yes,
like, can we put the Parthenon back together, somewhere? If we can't put it back together in reality, can we put it back together in, digital space? So
exactly, and that's what I'm doing.
So Philip and Otto, did they keep records of where they sold the book? Did they give you any clues to where these pages went?
Well, actually, it's very exciting news for the small group who care about such things. A colleague of mine who is a curator at Ohio State University, his name is Eric Johnson, and Otto Egge, because he lived and worked in Cleveland, there's an enormous number of the pages that he sold are still in Ohio. And so he has been kind of scouring the state looking for this material. And he actually found at a small public library in Lima, which is where Glee is set. So that's why people mostly know about Lima, but it's this very small agricultural town in the middle of Ohio. And they had a business relationship with Otto Egge in that they would sell pages and keep 30% of the proceeds for their staff loan fund. And they did this for decades. And my colleague, Eric Johnson, actually just found their record book where they kept incredibly detailed notes about what they sold, how much, and who they sold it to. I have not gotten my hands on this data yet. I'm very eager to, as you can imagine, but he's making a database out of it that will be publicly available soon.
So it's sort of like the photographer Dis Farmer, who was a local photographer in Montana who took pictures of the people who lived there and then sold them for 30 years to the people who lived there and then disappeared from Main Street to nobody knows where. And they were these incredible photographs that just went up into people's attics. And, 40 years later, a collector started going to yard sales and pulling them down and putting it back together as a body of work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there were 300 pages, right? And how many have you found? You said it's around the world. So have you found pages in other libraries in other countries and things?
I'm up to 118. I was at 110 3 months ago, but the floodgates opened as soon as the news got out about this other page. But yes, I found them in Japan, Australia, France, England, and Norway so far.
Amazing.
Internationally, and Canada, of course.
You don't travel to those places, or do you?
I have. I've seen the ones in England, but I haven't seen any of the other international ones. The next time I go to Paris, I suppose I could go visit the collection, the project collection.
First of all, the blasphemy of ripping apart a book to sell it. So there's that. I'm curious why they didn't burn in hell, or why they weren't afraid that they were going to burn in hell. That's one thing. But also, would the goal be to get the band back together again? And if so, could you cajole people, owners, to kind of at least lend it to you so you could all look at it in totality, or and then get them back their pages? Or what would be the goal? What is the vision?
There are too many at this point to even consider trying to get all of them together at once. I did manage to get 6 of them in a room for an exhibition a few years ago from 3 different collections. So that was pretty great because these 6 pages hadn't seen each other since 1942. So that it's nice to get them back together. And the 2 pages that I own, I like getting them back together, but it's just not realistic to imagine physically putting them back in the same room. And so that's the goal of this digital project then. I've had all of these pages show up in just unbelievable places. The one in Maine is not even the most fantastic, crazy story. The one appeared in 2020. Someone contacted me. He'd been Googling, and came across my name, and he said that he found a page of this manuscript in the basement of his uncle's house, in the bathroom under the sink.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, this stuff. And then I went to Lima a few years back and arranged with the librarian. She contacted the town has a listserv, and she said, if you have a page of a medieval manuscript that you inherited from your, great Aunt Bertha, bring it to the library, and this expert's going to be here, and she'll tell you all about it. And I had 30 people show up.
Wow.
It's like not
Did
even.
You have a scanner there, and you scan each image
I
at
took
300
photographs.
DPI?
Yeah,
right?
I photographed them for my own use. And I told people, you come to the library and I'll tell you what it is. And, sort of like my own little antique roadshow. I had a 90-year-old woman show up Her name was Edith, and she had a tiny little page of a book of hours from the 15th century that I was able to tell her all about. And it was just the loveliest interaction. I had the best time getting to know them. And these were not people who consider themselves experts or collectors. These are just random people whose great grandma bought this thing in 1935 at the Lima Public Library. It's been in the family for generations. Nobody really knows what it is. And those are the people that I'm trying to get to now. Yeah. I think, any library that has a page, they know now what it is. And I know those leaves. It's the ones that are hanging on the wall in somebody's home are the people I need to get at.
Yeah.
How do you know that they're from the book? Because I can't imagine that they're written on every page where it's from. Do you just recognize the writing? Like, what's the thing that lets you know?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. It's about the dimensions, for one thing. So not just, bring this baby back up here. So it's not just about the actual exterior dimensions, the width and the height, because that can vary. They can be trimmed to be put in a frame, but it's also about this dimension, the writing space, because that's almost like a fingerprint. That's going to be the same for every page.
And what about the art? What about the art?
The style of the decoration is really distinctive. The handwriting, the number of lines on each page. There are all sorts of criteria that you look to.
How many people does it take to write a manuscript like that? Do we know?
Well, I believe that there's only one scribe. So it was all, the lettering was all done by one person. There are 3 different styles of decoration. Whether it's 3 people or one person using 3 different styles, I haven't quite made up my mind about yet. But you need somebody's got to make the parchment. It's written on animal skin. So that's one skill set. Somebody's slaughtering and skinning it and preparing the parchment. Someone else is doing the writing. Somebody is doing the illumination. Someone else is doing the painting. That takes a whole, it takes a village. It's a whole lot of people and then someone else has to sew everything together and put it in a binding.
Now, what did you learn about the people who made the book from studying the pages?
I don't know anything at all about the people who actually made the book. I know things about the people who used the book. That's a different group of people, right? So it tells you something about the religious community at the cathedral.
Is the cathedral still standing?
Yes. Yeah, in Beauvais. It's quite a beautiful place. I've never been there, but I would very much like to go. I would love to see the place.
Do they know that you're trying to put the book back together?
It's a good question. I don't know. They might not. I suppose it would be worth reaching out and just telling them about the project.
We'll send them the podcast.
I wonder if they have any of the pages.
It's possible, but I doubt it. But you never know. I recently, so let me tell you about this page in Maine, what happened there. So I have a very close friend who is a professor. Her name is Megan Cook. She's a professor at Colby in the English department. And they bought a page of the Beauvais Missal that was found in a trunk in somebody's home in upstate Maine. And so she was already familiar with the manuscript. And this kid goes to an estate sale in Maine, and he had taken her class. So he knew that what he was looking at when he saw the Beauvais Missal leaf, he knew it was a medieval manuscript page. And so he took a picture, he sent it to Megan. Megan thought, well, this looks an awful lot like the Beauvais Missal. And she texted the picture to me. I, at the time, was in Ann Arbor attending the home opener of the University of Michigan football game with my husband.
Wait, my son's a Wolverine. We can talk about
let's not go down this rabbit hole.
No, okay. Well, we have a lot in common, clearly, Newton.
Yeah. So we were in Ann Arbor visiting friends. We were at the football game. There's no cell signal, of course, because 110,000 other people are trying to use their cell phones.
Yeah.
So I get a text from Megan that says, "Is this a Beauvais Missal leaf? ? And I couldn't get the picture to download because there was no signal. So I'm sitting there with my phone going, come on. And then finally, I think at halftime, I was finally able to see the picture, and I, knew exactly what it was and was able very quickly to confirm that it was in fact a Beauvais Missal leaf that I hadn't known about, that was new to me. And then I have a friend who writes for the Maine Monitor newspaper, and he contacted me and asked if, he said he wanted to write an article. Then the AP picked it up. And once the AP picked it up, then the dam burst, because that got it in front of the eyeballs that I hadn't been able to reach. The random people out there in the world who happened to own a page but didn't know what it was. And so as the AP got picked up and circulated, I started getting emails from people from all over the country saying, oh, I have a manuscript page. Is this a Beauvais Missal leaf? Most of them weren't. They were medieval manuscript pages, but not the one that I'm looking for. But I did get 5 or 6 new Beauvais Missal pages just in the last few weeks because of that article. And so maybe from this podcast, we'll get some more too.
Exactly.
Now, do you know the order that they go in? Can you figure that out from, the time of year kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. That's part of what I'm trying to do. It doesn't have page numbers. That would be cheating. That would be too easy. Right. Sometimes they do. Some manuscripts obviously have page numbers, but this one doesn't. So most generally, it is not difficult for me with a little bit of research to figure out specifically what part of the manuscript a page comes from. And then I can go back to my reconstruction and go, oh, it looks like the text runs straight from that page onto this one. So it fits, it's fitting in puzzle pieces. And the more information I get, the more often the new leaves, fill in an empty space in the manuscript.
Now you have 118 of the pages, out of 300.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound like much, but it really is. It's a lot.
Well, it does sound like a lot, being that you got to pull them in one at a time.
Well, and I have, there's no way to know if they all still survive. So, there were probably, so you have to remember they're trying to sell these things, right? So they're not going to save any that don't have decoration on them, because they wouldn't be marketable. They wouldn't be as valuable. So it's possible that pages that didn't have these fancy decoration on them, they might have been just thrown away. I have no idea. So it's quite possible that I'll never find all of them, because some of them, it just might not exist anymore.
This is so extraordinarily, talk about a needle in the haystack. I mean, this is just an unbelievable effort and feat that you've accomplished. And you're doing this one. Are there scholars all over the place, and they've got their own version of this? And what do you all meet and talk about? What is going on here?
Yeah, so there is a sort of a new discipline in medieval studies called fragmentology, which is just sort of a made up word, but that's the study of fragments of medieval manuscripts. And I do have a running list on my blog, The Manuscript Road Trip, where I am keeping track of scholars who are working on reconstructions like this, so that if you happen to find a page of a manuscript, you can then go to my blog and it will say, oh, if you find a page of this copy of Livy's History of Rome, that's these dimensions and this many lines on each page, here's the person you contact about it. Send a picture to this person because they're working on this manuscript. And I also do this I'm a professor at the Simmons University School of Library and Information Science. And every year my students do one of these reconstructions. We're just kicking off this year's project this week. I've just introduced them all to the pages that they're going to be working on. And then we'll work as a class to put the pages back in the right order.
How do you define the medieval period? What's contained in that,
Well, if you ask 2 medievalists that question, you'll get 7 different answers. So it really depends on what your specific specialization is. Obviously periodization is anachronistic and arbitrary anyway. It's not like everyone woke up one morning and said, oh, I feel like painting, it must be the Renaissance, right? Periodization is always about looking backwards. And so for me, I think of the Middle Ages as between the withdrawal of Rome from Europe back to Italy, so 3rd, 4th century, through, again, for my work, the invention of printing in the West, so Gutenberg in the mid-15th century. Some people think of the fall of Constantinople as the end of the Middle Ages. Others might say the Reformation in England. Some might say the French Revolution. I mean, it really depends on your perspective and what the topic is. For me, my scholarship goes up until essentially the end of the 15th century, when printing really begins to take off in Western Europe.
Rauschenberg, he painted a dining room at Harvard, and they left it open to the sun. So they faded, right? All the paintings faded. Now, they came along and they're trying to think about how to restore these paintings, and they realized they can't really touch them because, that's not true to the ethos. So what they did was they shine a light on them that returns them, the light's a colored light, and it returns the vitality to the painting the way it was originally intended to be seen. And I guess if you shut the light off, it shows you how it looks now, faded, but if you turn it on, you can see it. So let's just say you get to 250, do you then make the pages that are lost, so that you have something that feels like a complete?
No.
Even if you label them?
No, in part because every missal manuscript is slightly different. So there's really no way to know exactly what's contained on the missing pages. So that really, there really isn't any way to really reproduce what the exact contents were. We just don't know.
Is there a chance that there's another copy of it somewhere else in the world, in some old library?
So I do know this was originally part of a 3 or 4 volume set, and none of the other volumes have been found ever. So it's certainly possible that the other volumes exist, but there isn't, as far as I know, another manuscript that is a missal for Beauvais that is really closely associated with this one. There certainly would have been other missals that they used, but none that seem to be related to this one directly.
Is there another deeper meaning here? Like, what do we learn from this? Okay, that you're doing all of this effort, right? And what else might we learn from these books and these lost manuscripts? What are they telling us? Anything specific about that time and place? They are, like you said, religious documents, but the drawings, what else? Why is it important that we're doing this work, that you're doing this work?
So for one thing, it's reparative. So all of this damage has been done. Hundreds and hundreds of books were lost, and we won't know what was lost until we find them. We won't really know the extent of the damage, and we won't know what we don't know until we know it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The effort, I think, is always valuable to restore and repair what has been lost and damaged. So much hasn't survived from that period. So many manuscripts were destroyed, buildings, art, sculpture. Think about Notre Dame, the fire at Notre Dame, right? So as a medievalist, I feel like anything that we can do to try and restore some of that loss is always going to be valuable to someone, whether it's people who study liturgy, people who study music, art historians, people who study the history of books. We're at this point of transition in how we think about the written word, right? We're moving into this digital mode of thinking about literacy and thinking about text and text technology. And this is part of that continuum. This is part of that history. The Middle Ages, it's 1,000 years ago, but it's a direct line from that period to today. And this kind of work helps to bridge that. It helps to make it more real. It helps you to realize that these were real, live human beings who did this work. Somebody spent months creating this manuscript, every manuscript. And that labor is worth recovering and worth celebrating, I think.
Yeah, I think it tells us a lot about where we've been. The shame of the digital thing is just that, it's supposed to be permanent and it isn't.
Right.
You can lose just as much digitally as you can. And, most of the artifacts of our lives go into these digital files that eventually disappear. So it's very hard to figure out what to save,
Right. We all know that a persistent URL is not persistent. That doesn't mean forever. The internet is not forever. And for the work that I'm doing, as what I called it, I'm a digital medievalist. That's what I do. And we all now understand that the only way that our work in the digital realm is going to survive is if our data is extractable and preservable in some other way, right? You can't have your data and your interface stuck together forever. You have to be able to extract your data because your interface is going to die someday. Your website's going to die. But as long as you can hold on to your data, that can live on. And that's part of this for me too, is that this is like a ghost, this book. And think about all the transformations, right? We start with a bunch of cows and we end up with a manuscript. And then we have single pages that are scattered to the world that are now being digitized and put back together in a digital space. So that all of these transformations are all part of the life of this book. It's all part of the story of this object, of all of these objects as they become transformed into digital objects. They still exist here in the haptic world, but now it can't exist in the real world as an actual object anymore. It can only exist as a digital ghost, essentially, a remnant of what it used to be, which I find very poignant, but also kind of moving that we can still see the sort of glory of what this book once was. And all of these books, this isn't, it's not just about the Beauvais Missal, it's about all of these hundreds and hundreds of books that were fragmented, that we can now start to see what they once were. And I think that's important.
In a sense, we're all going to be digital ghosts. It's
That's
only a
true.
matter of time.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Beautiful analogy. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us talking about this today.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. Do you read books, hard books for pleasure, or do you read books online?
Yeah, you've got some old books there on your shelf behind you.
I do. I've got lots of books. I'm visually impaired, so it's difficult for me to read print books these days. So it's a good thing that I'm living in a digital era. All of my images, I'm working entirely from digital images and doing digital work, but I do still like to get my hands on the real object. It's really inspirational for me to have these pages sitting here in my office. My husband and I, we were very fortunate in that we were able to acquire both of these at auction a few years ago from auction houses who really didn't know what they were.
I was just going to say, nobody really knew. I bet you got it even swooped in.
When they sell at Sotheby's or Christie's, they go for $8,000, $9,000, $10,000
wow.
page. William Randolph Hearst paid $1,000.
Yeah, wow.
And now if you put it all back together, it'd be worth millions.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you. Yeah, please keep us informed.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye, you guys.